Hello everybody, Gray Sky Studios here. Welcome back to another video, and today's kind of different. Today we're doing more of a news video. We're going to be going over everything we know about the Maul show. Maul Shadow Lord, it's a show that's confirmed coming in 2026, and today we're going to be going over everything that we know so far about it. Most of the stuff we cover is going to be confirmed news. There will be a little bit of rumors in, but I'll let you know when those are, but most things will be confirmed news. The first big sign that the Maul show was coming was earlier this year in January when Disney officially greenlit that they were going to make an animated Maul series. So we know for sure that it's coming out, unless, you know, they cancel the project, but most likely we know for sure that it's coming out, and I'm actually so excited for it because Maul's like one of my favorite Sith. So the fact that we get a standalone series on Maul is absolutely freaking mind-boggling. Disney officially confirmed in a 2025 investor call that they're aiming for a 2026 release window. No exact month yet, but likely late 2026 based on what we know with the filming schedule and how far they are into making the series. Like I said earlier, the series is also supposed to be called Maul Shadow Lord, which is pretty cool. I still wish it was just called Maul, because that'd be way more cool if it was literally just called Maul. But you know, Maul Shadow Lord's cool. I guess it kind of makes sense because he is a Lord of the Shadow. I really hope Palpatine is involved somehow. I really hope, you know, it shows Palpatine picking up Maul from Dathomir when he was little. And I hope it involves Palpatine taking Maul to Malachor to, you know, give Maul the ashes and tell him to sniff it of the fallen Sith. And there's already a lot of content in comics that Palpatine and Maul have together, so it wouldn't be too hard to animate those scenes that we already have inside of the comics. But anyways, enough about my opinion. Let's get right into the actual juicy goosey facts. The next big piece that's freaking dope is the creative team that Lucasfilm brought together for the show. The showrunner is Matt Mishnavedez, I hope I'm saying that correctly, who you guys probably know from the Clone Wars series and Star Wars Rebels. He wrote many of the important Maul arcs like the Lawless and the Mandalore arcs. When it comes to directors, Brad Rao is said to be the supervising director, and he helped direct Bad Batch and Rebels, which are two very, very solid shows, probably some of my favorite that I've seen so far. Dave Filoni is also playing a huge part in helping create the story, and there's nobody I would trust more in the hands of Maul than the homie Dave himself. Besides George Lucas, of course, but we all know that's not possible since he freaking gave the rights to Disney. Boo! The creative lineup is also stacked with people who deeply know Maul's actual story, especially his evolution from a silent Sith in Phantom Menace to like a fully developed, tragic, complex character that we see by the end of the Clone Wars. Lucasfilm also announced that Sam Witwer, Maul's longtime voice actor, is working on a story consultant, which is the same role that Dave Filoni had in Rogue One, which means, I mean, Sam in interviews and whatever, he's always expressed his love for Maul and how he contributed ideas to Lucasfilm in the midst of the Clone Wars and Rebels, whatever. So the fact that he's behind, like also coming up with a story means the story has to be at least somewhat decent, because the rest of the story he came up with is really good, and he actually really does care for the character. So I think there's gonna be a lot of passion behind the story, and I really hope that that's true. And the fact that Sam's on the creative team really shows that Lucasfilm wants to stay true to the animated community and complexity that we all know and we all love with Maul, which, I mean, it's good, you know? I mean, Lucasfilm has produced some good shows. It hasn't all been bad, but I think that this is a chance to really redeem themselves if they actually put the right people towards this, which it looks like they are, and put the right effort towards this show. The next question we're going to be covering is, when exactly does the Maul show take place? And we don't know too much about it, but I mean, we do know kind of the basic core element. One thing we do know is that the show is set after Clone Wars Season 7, meaning after the Siege of Mandalore and after Order 66. But it's also set before Maul's death in Rebels, specifically before his final duel with Obi-Wan on Tatooine. So we know it's somewhat before Rebels and somewhat after Clone Wars, which is good. Most reports put it roughly around 14 to 10 BBY, which is the same period the Empire is really tightening its control over the galaxy, which would make sense. This time is specifically important because it's when Maul creates Crimson Dawn. According to some articles, it says that the series follows Maul as he carves a place for himself in the criminal underworld, seeking power and purpose while haunted by his past failures, which sounds about right for Maul and sounds good to put into story perspective. Lucasfilm also teased that the show will have a different kind of vibe from The Mandalorian and a different kind of vibe from Andor. They said that it would be a dark underworld story, or where crime meets force, and that the settings include secret hideouts, crime worlds, and abandoned Sith temples, which would make sense because we see Maul at the abandoned Sith temple in Rebels. Casting is also another area where Lucasfilm put a lot of people out there and gave kind of a lot of information. Sam Witwer, like I said, is also back doing Maul's voice, just like in Clone Wars, Rebels, and Solo. Paul Bettany is rumored. I know we said mostly confirmed, but this part is rumored. But he's rumored to be going back as Dryden Voss, who was Crimson Dawn's front-facing big guy that we see in Solo, kind of like the main antagonist in Solo. Also, same thing with that rumor. This next part right here is not from any reputable source, so it could be wrong, it could be right, but it's just put out there, so I'm gonna read it to you guys anyways. Maul's top enforcer is described as a mercenary with a code, so like Maul's top henchman is described with a mercenary with a code. An Imperial ISB agent who sees Maul as a personal target, so maybe the Imperial ISB agent has like a personal grudge against Maul. Maybe Maul did something to like a family member or something to where he is targeting Maul and going after Maul. And a mysterious Force-sensitive assassin is hired by Maul, which I guess that makes sense. I don't know exactly who it would be. Maybe I was thinking Asajj Ventress. I think she might show up in the show once. That was only like a Force-sensitive assassin that kind of has a link to Maul, but I don't know for sure. Maybe Asajj Ventress, or it could be a completely new character that we don't know. Lucasfilm also hasn't announced Obi-Wan or Vader officially showing up, but I mean, we expect there to be somewhat of a cameo for either Vader or Obi-Wan. We definitely know that Obi-Wan's going to be talked about because that's somebody who Maul wants to take revenge against, but a brief cameo for Vader or Obi-Wan is rumored to be in the show, which would definitely make sense, so you can expect that, but that'd be sick. If they didn't have it, then that'd be incredibly disappointing. Also, even if Vader doesn't show up and they don't meet face to face, the threat of Vader hunting down Maul could be a super crucial part to the story. Also, one quick note about the animation here is that it's set to resemble the Clone Wars style animation. Thank God it's not the Rebels, but it's set to be like the Clone Wars animation, but just have a darker, edgier kind of tone to it, which makes perfect sense because, you know, Maul is a villain and it should have that darker, edgier tone. Like his obsession with revenge, his fear to become irrelevant, or how whenever he leads people, it always comes towards destruction and he can't really control that because he's just a destructive being. So I hope that helped at least some of you guys. I know I didn't put out a lot of information, but mainly my opinions, but you know, I'm kind of just gonna balance them both. But I hope you guys learned a lot. They have a really good director's crew. Not even just directors, just a good crew overall. And I think there's really high hopes for the show. And I'm trusting the group that has been put together to make this show good. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe. This is Gray Sky Studios. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.